Hello everyone. I'm going to wait until a few more people pop on. I know a lot of people said they were going to try to make it. So I'm just going to wait a few seconds for everybody to get their notifications and I'll get started. Today I'm going to be talking about 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for those days when you really don't know what to post. You feel like it's been a while since you posted, or maybe you just posted yesterday and you feel like you're constantly repeating your content over and over again. So I'm getting a notification that there's a couple more people joining, so I'll wait a couple more minutes. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I just did a little intro, but nobody was on here, so I'm going to do it again. But today I'm just going to be talking about 30 different Instagram post ideas that will hopefully get a lot of engagement from your audience. Hi Sarah. The main point of this is to have like a whole big list of content that you can share on those days when you just feel like you have nothing to post and you're kind of burnt out and you feel like you're just saying the same thing over and over again, or maybe you're feeling like you're either being too salesy on your social media, or maybe you feel the opposite. You feel like you're just constantly talking about things that aren't relevant, or maybe you're talking about, maybe you feel like you're posting about your kids too much or things like that. So I'm going to share these 30 different ideas. Thank you guys for coming into the chat. I'm so excited. I'm glad you guys are all live. For those of you that are live, the last time that I did a live, I didn't feel like I had a lot of people that were able to join at this time. So are you live because I gave enough notice, or did you just happen to have a great opportunity to pop on today? Let me know in the comments. But I'm excited to see all of you guys here. Oh, hi guys. I'm so glad you could come. So yes, I'm going to be sharing 30 engaging Instagram post ideas. I actually have 33 as of right now because I kept adding ideas. But before I dive into that, I'm going to let a few more people pop on and just kind of explain what I think the purpose of Instagram is as a business owner, especially if you're, I don't want to say a service-based business, but maybe a business where you're really the face of your brand. I feel like a lot of us tend to kind of waver where we're like, I don't know if I should be putting this many photos of myself, or maybe you're just starting to get over that hump where you're like, yes, I'm more comfortable being on my Instagram. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Sarah, for letting me know. Was that through email, or did you guys just catch me on stories? I want to make sure I'm giving everybody the right heads up in the right place. Awesome, guys. Thank you. That's really good to know. So I'll definitely do that from now on. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming in. Awesome. Sounds good. So for Instagram, I think the main purpose, and what I always recommend for my clients and just anybody that follows me on social media, I think that the number one purpose is to add value to your audience. So what that means to me would be just having some sort of insight or inspiration or entertainment that you're providing to your followers. So instead of just constantly posting things that don't make any sense, awesome, thank you guys, that's good to know. Instead of constantly posting things where you feel like you're just doing it to have a post up, I highly recommend trying to provide value to your audience in a way that makes them feel like they're more able to relate to you. So you often know that your target audience is either very similar to you, or you have a good idea of what they want or what they're struggling with, or what they need. So providing any sort of information about that. And then you also get to position yourself as an expert as you provide all of this value. So for me, I obviously am a brand strategist and a brand photographer. So I like to come onto Instagram and talk more as much as possible, but I'm definitely trying to do it more, but try to talk about just tips, obviously, for using Instagram and tips for taking better photos and that sort of thing. So I do provide a lot of free content and a lot of free value, but personally that's worked out well in my favor because I have inquiries and clients that come to me because they know, like, and trust me because I'm constantly putting this information on social media, and then they're using these tips for free and getting great results. So then they hire me in the long run for my services and my different packages. So I'm just gonna dive into the 30 engaging Instagram post ideas. Guys, feel free to ask questions if something's confusing or if it's not making sense. Let me know and I'll be sure to kind of clarify what I'm saying. Or if something doesn't make sense for your specific profession, let me know as well. I'm gonna try to give different examples for different types of businesses. Hi guys, thanks for joining. So number one is sharing a post about what's in your bag. And you can also say what's in your desk or what's in your phone if you do a lot of things with apps, or what's on my iPad, or what's in my purse, or what's in my camera bag. Sharing a little behind the scenes of what tools you're constantly using, maybe on a daily basis, especially if it's what's in my bag. So for me, it would be what's in my camera bag, what camera do I have, what lenses do I use, what lenses do I use for my phone to make my phone images better. So sharing a little bit behind the scenes like that. If you're a podcaster, sharing things like what's in my desk, so what equipment do you have, what tools, what do you recommend? Hi guys, thanks for coming in. So yeah, sharing a little bit about your day-to-day and what tools really help you create this business or keep the business running. So another idea, sorry, I have all my notes here because I could not memorize these 30 ideas. Another Instagram post that you could do, absolutely. I have the 7, and I've used the, I guess the 8 and the X. So someone just asked, is an iPhone SE a good phone to use? For those of you that are watching the recording, absolutely. Most newish iPhones have great cameras, 12 megapixel. It's not, it's what a lot of people are still using, and they're really expensive DSLRs. So absolutely, it's a great phone to use. The main thing would be knowing how to use it, and that would be more getting great light and that sort of thing. So I do have a freebie for that on my blog. I don't think I have the link written down, but it's just, I think if you go to my homepage, brandstrategyco.com, I have a freebie for how to take more cohesive photos with your iPhone. So that might be really helpful for you. But another Instagram tip or Instagram post would be tips for prepping for your service or product. So an example of this would be, let's say that you're a newborn photographer, and obviously you serve new moms that have newborns. Being on social media and giving great tips for how to best prepare for your newborn photography session. So there's a lot of different things, and a lot of different photographers, newborn photographers specifically, recommend different things, like make sure the diaper's on loosely so you don't have all those like scrunchy diaper marks when they get their little naked butt pictures. And like another tip would be feed them at this amount of time before, or don't feed them, or you know, whatever. There's a lot of different tips depending on how you photograph. So allowing your clients or potential clients to have this information ahead of time, and then also letting them know, this is my area of expertise. I know what I'm talking about. You can trust me. You feel like you get to know me more. So putting that information out there. And even if they don't hire you, you're probably going to be in the back of their mind when their next friend is pregnant and she's looking for a newborn photographer. You'll definitely be forefront of mind because you're constantly exercising your area of expertise. So another Instagram post idea would be to ask for opinions for a fun business decision or something that's coming up. So for me, I actually went on Instagram stories and asked you guys what chair I should buy, and most of you voted for the other chair, and I wound up buying this one. Sorry guys. It was like very weighted on the other one. If you guys happen to see it, it was a really adorable like bow, beautiful. It's from Pottery Barn Teens or Preteens or whatever it is, but it was like $250. And I don't think that included shipping, and this chair was $40 on Amazon, so I got it in 2 days, and it was put together, so it was kind of a no-brainer. After I thought about it for a while, I did think that chair was really cute, but I do live with all boys, and it was really, really feminine, so I tried to keep it a little bit classier. But anyway, I think a lot of my audience loved to like vote for that, and then a couple days later I posted the chair that I wound up using, and people really engaged and they felt like they were a part of that. So asking your audience for their opinions or for some sort of help with a business decision that might even affect them, like, hey, should I offer this service or this service, or, you know, whatever, should this be this color or that color, or hey, I'm launching this new product, do you want this fabric or this fabric? Just having them really feel like they're part of the process. And I feel like some of the best entrepreneurs are the ones that start at the very beginning of their process and let people know, hey, I'm doing this thing, I want you to be a part of it. What do you want? What do you not want? What are you interested in? What are your questions? I've been trying to do that with this course that I have coming up. I'm a few weeks out from announcing it, but it's an Instagram branding course. And I've been trying to get on stories in different places and ask you guys what your main questions are, what your struggles are, what your frustrations are. So hopefully when I launch the course, you guys feel like you really had some input on it. And it's better for me because it's something that I know my audience is asking for and looking for. And it was created and curated specifically for this group of people. So having their insight, that whole process from start to finish, is beneficial for me and for my audience as well. So number 4, for those of you that just joined, thanks for coming. I'm talking about 30 engaging Instagram post ideas when you feel like you have nothing to post. So we're on number 4. Number 4 would be a client transformation. So for those of you that are service-based, and this could also be like if you're an event vendor of some sort, a client transformation, or even like some sort of before and after where it's like, this is what we started with and this was the after. So obviously what comes to mind right away would be some sort of like nutritional or fitness journey, so before and after there. But also like if you're an interior designer and you came into their space and they had this room, and when you left, this is what the room looked like, having this transformation from, you know, before and after, to seeing that really stark contrast of what you started with and what you ended with, really helps people realize what you're an expert in. So that also allows them to really trust you more, because they say, oh my gosh, you know, that before looks like my room, or that before looks like my current body, or whatever. And knowing that you can get them from step A to step B really helps them. And you can go a step further and go in the caption and talk about the different things that were, you know, happening in between the before and after. So you know, we added this paint color and got this furniture and blah, 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 blah. And that's what happened to get to the after picture. Or, you know, she started working out twice a week, which was totally doable for her. And she changed her diet from this to this diet or whatever. So really including the details in the caption and talking about what that process looked like will really help people connect with you, and seeing that social proof of other people coming to you for these services, that really helps them really understand exactly what you do and who you do it for as well, and what type of results you provide, which is really huge. I think before and afters are so powerful, even if it's not a client. And I think I'll talk about a before and after in a little bit. But hi, Caitlin. Caitlin's my assistant, she's here, hi. So that really helps them understand, yeah, exactly what you have going on. And it really elevates you as the expert. So Instagram post idea number 5, wow, I'm going really slow on these. So 5 ways to use your product. This would be, you can do a number of different things with this, but maybe saying something like, you know, 5 different ways to style this handbag, or if you are a dressmaker, 5 different ways to style this dress, and it could be day or night, and you could add earrings or a necklace or whatever, and nail polish. Obviously, I can only see myself, and I'm adding all these things. But yeah, just different ways to dress up, hair down, makeup, whatever. So adding, like almost educating your audience about how they can use your products. Not only makes them want it more because they get to see all these different contexts that they can use your product in, but you're also teaching them how to use it and better ways to use it, or ways to elevate it. If it's just one product, you know, take this one thing and create this whole big thing with it, or create these 5 different things with it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play up this one product, and instead of just saying, hey, here's a new product that's for sale, or hey, here's a new launch, or whatever, you can really educate people and provide value while also teaching about that one thing. So like I said before, even if they don't wind up buying, if you're a handbag designer and they don't wind up buying that handbag from you from that specific post, they might still, 2 months from now think, oh, I just saw in this magazine that leather handbags are back or whatever. I really want to, add that to my collection. And oh, I was just thinking about that person that taught me the 5 different ways to style that handbag. And then they can come find you and see that you still have things in stock or whatever, and they buy from you. So keeping yourself, A, as an expert, and B, as somebody that provides value, and then C, as someone that's forefront of mind, it's so beneficial, especially on social media when everything's so loud and noisy, and it's so easy to kind of, thank you guys, thanks for joining, hi. It's really beneficial to help people kind of, see something other than just product, service all the time. So thank you guys that are just joining. I'm on number 6 now, 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for those days when you don't have anything to post. So idea number 6 is a workspace or studio tour. I've done this a few times. I'd like to start doing it live because I won't get cut off as much. And I think it's just more fun to be in that moment. Obviously, you guys are here and enjoying this, but people can ask questions and you can give like resources and that sort of thing, and really show people the behind the scenes of what your space looks like. And it doesn't have to be glamorous. Sometimes it's more fun when you have this beautiful product or this beautiful service that you create, and the behind the scenes is like a really blah room. And it's another way to kind of do the what's in my bag or what's in my desk post. You can combine them or you can separate them out. Or you could do all 3, you could do a combo. It's a great way to show people what you're working with and just kind of inspiring them, and then also allowing people to know you as well. Idea number 7 would be a blog post summary. So that would just be a little caption that's pulled from a recent blog post, or you can even do, if you happen to have a tutorial on your blog, you can do image 1, image 2, image 3, and a multi-image post. And then in the caption, you could just kind of break down what each image means. You can even add like numbers to those images in an app like Canva, where it can be image 1, image 2, image 3, and then the steps are all numbered. So there's a lot of different things you can do with that, and you can just recycle this content from your blog and give it that way, and then even send people back to your blog if they want more information. A service or product before and after. This is Instagram post idea number 8. So this goes back to the other before and afters, just showing what a before and after looks like. If you have a shop where you redo furniture, showing what this piece of furniture looked like before and then what it looks like after. And then you can even say, hey guys, here's the before. What color do you want it? I can make it purple or gray. Which do you think is best? And then people can vote there. And the captions, and then later you can share the after. So that's a couple different ways to kind of combine some of these ideas and really create more engaging and entertaining and exciting content. And that works for a number of different things, services and products. A number of different professions can really benefit from the before and after. I highly recommend it. And I definitely don't do it enough, so I think I will try to do that soon. Idea number 9 would be to ask a question. So this is something that's so beneficial that I don't do enough, and I don't think other people on Instagram are doing enough, where we're just trying to engage with our audience instead of constantly posting things that are, only about our business, but instead trying to engage and talk to our audience. So one way would be to ask an opinion, but another way would just to be asking questions like, hey guys, what do you recommend for X, Y, and Z? Or, hey, what do you think about the new blah, blah, blah? And just really getting their opinions and having them engage with your content, especially because the Instagram algorithm loves when people are commenting and liking on your stuff, and then you'll really stay at the top of their newsfeed if they're constantly engaging with you. So I highly recommend asking questions. When I do an Instagram post, I always have a call to action at the end, and it's either, hey, go look at my newest story, or hey, let me know what you think about X, Y, and Z in the comments, or link in profile, grab the freebie, or see the blog post, or whatever. So I highly recommend some sort of call to action at the end of every post to get them to do whatever it is you want them to do next. That way, they're really engaging and they feel like this connection between you. And if you're asking a question and people are commenting, really try to respond within 24 hours. I'm getting better about this. But if you can respond even sooner rather than later, I know it's hard to be glued to your phone all the time, but having that engagement, and when people are now seeing your post for the first time and they're scrolling through and they're like, oh, that person's responding a lot, and she asked a question, I'm going to give an opinion, and hopefully she responds to me. That way I can know what her idea or what her opinion of my opinion is. So keeping that engagement and keeping that conversation flowing is really, really beneficial for everybody. So I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. I feel like I'm giving a lot of information. You guys, do you want more posts quicker, like post ideas quicker, or do you like when I dive into all of the nitty gritty? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys are benefiting from the most, because I can go down a rabbit hole with pretty much all of these points. And we have 33 total and I'm at 10, so let me know. Post idea number 10, highlights from your last project or event. So what I like to do is, and I haven't done this in a while, but I love sharing like the whole highlight of, hey, I just hosted this photo styling workshop, or hey, I just did this whole photo shoot or whatever, I attended this event, and sharing a multi-image post or even videos involving just the highlights of my favorite things. So here's a tablescape from, you know, this really pretty styling thing. Here's behind the scenes. Awesome, thank you for letting me know, that's helpful. Here's, you know, a whole slew of what happened at this event, or this is what this project looked like from start to finish. Or here's the highlights from this project where we did a consultation and then we picked out these colors and then we painted her room this color and bought this furniture here. So like having that whole, like the highlight of all your favorite things together on one post. Personally, I love when people that I follow are including information like that, because I feel like I can really, it doesn't feel like I'm just being sold to all the time. Thank you guys. I really enjoy just seeing what they're doing behind the scenes. And that way down the road, I can think, oh, I need a new logo or I need a new website. Who's somebody that I trust, that I enjoy their work? And there's obviously millions of graphic designers out there. I follow probably, I don't know, 30 graphic designers on Instagram. But when I'm scrolling through and I see somebody actually teaching me about their process or involving me in their process, they're going to be forefront of mind more so than the tons of other people that are out there. So yeah, definitely include, and I'll go into process in a little bit, but including the highlights and the best of is really fun to do. And it keeps your feed pretty usually. So idea number 11, thank you guys for letting me know that the insights are helpful and that getting, you know, into the nitty gritty is helpful, because yes, I still have a ton, but I'm not in a rush if you guys aren't, and there's always the replay. So idea number 11, those of you that just joined, I'm sharing 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for days when you feel like you have nothing to post, and you're a business owner and you're trying to keep your feed cohesive while being updated, while not being too salesy, while also being interesting and entertaining and providing value. So these are my 30 ideas. And we're on number 11, which is sharing a recommended product or store or resource. This is something that, a lot of these are things that I want to do more, but this is something that I love seeing from my favorite Instagrammers, where they're constantly sharing, hey guys, I'm this calligraphy artist, and I'm constantly teaching other calligraphy artists, and my target market is aspiring calligraphers. I don't know what the right term is. So they're coming to me and they're following me, and I'm saying, hey guys, for those of you that really liked this wax that I was recommending for this wax seal, check out this wax, it's sparkly or whatever, and it goes really well with this ink that I recommended from 2 weeks ago. So having that insight of, you know, I tried this one's great, I recommend it, from somebody that you really trust, you're more likely to buy from them in the future, because they're constantly giving you information about their resources and what they're enjoying. So yes, definitely recommend resources. Even stores, I feel like, especially as maybe an interior designer, if you're giving tips for styling a room saying, you know, I really like Anthropologie's furniture for, you know, living room, but World Market's better for dishes and whatever. Having that insight of these are the best places to find this, these are the best places to look for this. And it doesn't have to be stores or products, it can be resources. Like these are my favorite magazines for finding inspiration and things like that. So I could really go down a rabbit hole on examples, but I think you guys get the idea. Number 12, a sale. If you have a sale in your shop, or if you have some sort of like discount on a service, or if you're launching a new service and the first 5 clients that sign up with you get, you know, some sort of discount, or maybe like a free bonus or whatever, sharing about your sale on Instagram, always a great idea. Idea number 13, how to get started with blank. So this is interesting because I think a lot of us have all been at the beginning, and I think most of our audience kind of starts to follow us when they're at their beginning. So giving them tips for how to get started with essential oils, that would be such a beneficial post for those of us that are like, oh, I keep hearing about them, but I don't know anything about them. It's super overwhelming. There's so much information out there. There's so many, you know, oils to like figure out which ones I should start with. So having just a really simplistic post that says, this is how you get started with essential oils, or these are my 5 favorite starter oils, or whatever. So that would be really beneficial. For me, I could do how to get started with Instagram marketing. A lot of times we assume that everybody's at the same place as us, where everybody knows as much about Instagram as I do, but I don't think that's true, especially with the amount of positive feedback that I get from when I'm sharing as much as I am. So for those of you that are like, oh, everybody knows about oils, everybody's constantly talking about oils, I'm just going to be repeating information. It's not true. And I promise you, you follow way more oilers than any other person in your audience is following. So be the person that gives the information for sure. It goes back to being the Instagram expert. You know, people will instantly trust you because you're really positioning yourself as that expert in the industry. And how to get started with blank. You could do so many things. Just think about your audience and what they're struggling with and what's super confusing, and maybe think about what you wish you knew when you got started in this industry, or whatever, whatever your business is. Think about, what you wish you knew then, and just provide that information in a post, or it could be a series of posts. You could do a lot with that. So idea number 14, DIY tutorial. This is similar to the blog summary, or you could just do it straight on your Instagram, and you don't need to have a blog, which is really nice because I know blogging's a whole other thing to keep up with. But you could just do a step-by-step process. You know, step 1, and you could do a multi-image post or even a video on Instagram. I just heard that Instagram's doing, or they're launching today or soon, 60-minute videos instead of 60-second videos in the Instagram feed. I haven't seen it like clarified, or like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's a rumor, I think, and it sounds exciting. So for those of you that love to teach and want to do more tutorials, videos are going to be awesome on Instagram, and you won't get cut off with that 15-second on stories. So for example, I did a DIY styling board, and I took pictures of the entire process. So this is the board that I started with, and this is what it looked like. And then these are the tools that I use, and ingredients, and the paint, and all that fun stuff, like a picture of all the products. And then this was the process. I added, you know, this color to it, and then I did this, and blah, 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 blah. And I wound up putting that on a guest blog, but if I took that same content and put it step by step on an Instagram post, you wouldn't have to leave my Instagram. You could get the entire tutorial right there. You have all the photos, and then the caption would just walk you through the entire process. It would be really simplistic. So having some sort of tutorial where you're teaching them, you know, a step-by-step process, and it could be, you know, 5 steps or 10 steps or 3 steps. It could be whatever you want. So any sort of teaching, especially that step-by-step process, is always really fun and entertaining, and I think people really enjoy that. So idea number 15, for those of you that just joined, thank you and welcome. I have way more people live than I did last time, so if you guys are new, let me know how you found out. Did you just happen to be on Instagram and saw that I was live, or did you get the newsletter that I sent to my list, the email that said I was going live today? I would love to know how you knew that I was live, just so I can make sure to notify people correctly down the road, because I want to do this at least weekly. And I'm sharing 30 Instagram post ideas specifically that are engaging for the days when you feel like you don't have anything to post. And I will be posting the replay if you missed the first half, because we are on number 15, which is an overview of your service or your program, or what it's like to work with you. So if you're a person that creates custom products, what that process would look like, or if you're a business coach or even a fitness coach, this is what the process looks like when you hire me, or this is what the process looks like right before you hire me, or this is what the process looks like after you hit buy. Just walking people through exactly what to expect from you. So if you're a graphic designer, first we start out with creating a mood board or a vision board, and then we move on to logo variations, then we pick our colors and whatever. Obviously I'm not a graphic designer, but walking people through the process. Awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for letting me know. So yeah, just walking them through exactly what it's like to work with you and letting them almost like avoid surprises, and giving them as much information before they buy from you or before they hire you is always really beneficial. And again, know, like, and trust. They will certainly do that once they know exactly what it looks like behind the scenes if they do purchase something from you or they hire you. Idea number 16. So client testimonials and case studies. This is always the best content that you could put on social media. I never do it, which is ridiculous, and I'm realizing it now as I say it, but I had a lot of people, especially last year, hire me for mainly Facebook ads, but a few Instagram ads. And instead of creating copy from scratch, we pulled really powerful statements from these testimonials that my clients had from their clients or from their past customers. And this content did so well. People loved seeing testimonials. They loved that social proof again. They loved to see that somebody else trusted you and they were thrilled with the results. If you can get a testimonial that includes some sort of objection that they're telling themselves, so like if they're saying, oh, I don't want to hire somebody because it's too expensive. And then you have a testimonial that says, I'm so glad I hired Brittany. The investment was well worth it and I've made my money back tenfold or whatever. Wouldn't that be nice? But having some sort of objection kind of answered in that testimonial, and it's coming from somebody else instead of you. So highly recommend testimonials, case studies. Combining the before and after with the client testimonials is, twice as beneficial. So really getting in there and showing them exactly what your clients are getting from you and what results you're providing. So yes, do that as much as possible. I need to go round up some of mine, include them, because it feels salesy at first, but in reality, you're just providing more value and showing them exactly what other people are getting from you. Because if you believe in your service or your product, you should do as much as you can to get it out there to people that could really benefit from it. So idea number 17, I say a lot, I'm sorry guys. Idea number 17, product or client work in progress photos. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier with the highlights from your last project. So this would be more just keeping them involved in the entire process. And instead of posting a multi-image post, awesome, glad to have you here. Instead of having a multi-image post, it's like, we started with the colors and then we added the paint and then had the furniture for this interior design room. You would be keeping them updated on an ongoing basis. So it's like, hey guys, I'm working with so-and-so to do this, and these are her colors, or this is the mood board that we picked out. And obviously you don't always have to include all of their information. Sometimes, especially as coaches, a lot of our information is really confidential. So including any sort of process would be really difficult, but you can get a little creative and just say, this is the mood board that I'm working on, or these are the colors that I'm working on with a new client. and kind of include them in the process. And then at the end, when you have that before and after, they know exactly what you're talking about because they've been involved with the entire process and got to see it from start to finish. And it just keeps them in the loop. And again, it goes back to asking for somebody's opinion and that sort of thing. So really keeping them involved with the entire process and feeling like you're a friend and they know, like, and trust you, and you're the expert in this industry. And for those of you that just joined, let me know if you guys have questions. I asked earlier if you guys wanted me to like really dive into each tip or if you just wanted me to run through the list. But you guys said diving in and all the insights are really helpful. So I'm getting into every post that I'm recommending. So I'm going over 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for days when you feel like you don't have anything to say that are of high value. So idea number 18 would be, this is an obvious one, but it always works really well for me, is an inspirational or silly quote. Silly always does better for me, but I think that's just, that goes along with my personality and what my audience likes to see from me. But if you're a business coach or if you're a like nutritionist and having some sort of inspirational quote about food or about working out or about having a healthy lifestyle, including all of that in an inspirational post will really resonate with your audience. And typically my quote graphics, my quote posts get tons of engagement because people really feel connected because quotes are so powerful. And sharing them in a way that I then in the captions share my insights about the quote or what it means to me or ask some sort of question, my audience really likes to respond and get involved with that because my specific audience loves quotes. Because we're all business owners and quotes are like our crack and it keep us going when we're like, oh, I want to quit. And then you see a quote that says, don't quit, just hustle. And it's like, okay, thank you. So having like those inspirational quotes are nice little pick-me-ups. And silly quotes always do really well. I like to be sarcastic and have really like random silly quotes. And I haven't been doing it as much, but I do want to get back into having quotes with a little bit of like pizzazz. One of my favorite graphics that I've seen that's kind of sarcastic or like silly was Planoly that I use for scheduling my Instagram posts. Planoly, they have the most beautiful Instagram feed, and they had a really, I think they have like bags and totes and swag that says, I liked you before your Instagram was pretty. And I think that's hilarious, and it's so true because that's what they're all about is helping people keep their Instagrams pretty in a really, really, I don't know, streamlined way. So having that quote I thought was so silly and quirky. And I loved when they posted that. And I think they post it every so often. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I am on idea number 19 out of 30 engaging Instagram post ideas. And actually I have 33, so stay tuned. So idea number 19 would be a mini book summary or review. This kind of goes back to like a recommendation for a product or a store or a resource that you like that you know your audience would really benefit from. But instead it's a book and you can just give a quick summary in the caption, or you can even do a review, or you can do a review on your blog and give just a little tidbit on your Instagram and just share like maybe your main takeaways or why you recommend it or who it's for, or maybe something that you were struggling with that you weren't struggling with anymore. Obviously I'm thinking business books or like self-help books, because that's typically what I read and what I recommend. But if you're just reading a really fun summer romance on the beach and you like it, give a little preview, especially if you think your audience would benefit from that. So idea number 20, ask for votes between two options. So that's really similar to ask for an opinion. Obviously votes are really fun, especially in Instagram stories, but you can also do it in your regular feed and just ask for people's insight about one or the other. So do you guys want this top in black with white polka dots, or do you want it white with black polka dots? And getting people to vote in there. It's a great way to boost engagement. It's a great way to have them, again, feel like they're part of the process. And once they see that thing in the shop and they voted for that one, they'll feel more of a connection to it and they'll just be really excited about it, especially because they know it's coming before it's actually there. So involving them and getting their opinion and their votes about something, especially when it's specifically related to your product or to your shop, they'll really feel like they're involved in that whole process. Okay, so idea number 21. Thank you guys for joining. I'm going over 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for days when you feel like you have nothing to post. I'm on idea number 21, which is sharing behind the scenes, which is obviously one that people are doing tons, but it's one that my audience enjoys the most, especially when I'm involving them like in the process of, instead of, I mean, they like behind the scenes when I post it from like, oh, last week I did a photo styling session and, you know, this is what the behind the scenes look like. But they also really love when they get to see behind the scenes, like before, during, and after. Like, hey guys, watch my stories. I am going to be sharing behind the scenes of my photo styling workshop. And this is what the prep looks like. So I'm gathering all my props. And there's a lot of props and it's going to be awesome. And then showing like, you know, behind the scenes. This is me doing a story, doing a behind the scenes video. And obviously you can include all this in your feed as well. Showing them what it looks like behind the scenes during the process. And then the after, like here's the horrible mess that I made, or here's the beautiful styled event that we created together. If you're a florist or if you're a wedding vendor of some sort, this is what it looks like behind the scenes. And this was the process, and then here's afterwards of the results. Awesome, I will say this, it's gonna go on my blog. I'm so glad you got a lot out of it. Yes, I will have it in my stories for 24 hours, and hopefully I will save it correctly. Last time I tried to save it, and it didn't save, and it got really wonky when I tried to pull it back. But I will be saving this, and it will be on my blog hopefully on Monday. So I'm gonna try to keep Instagram Lives on Wednesdays, and then the replay will always be available on my blog on Mondays of the following week. So thank you so much for saying that. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. And it feels nice to know that I'm not just talking to myself as I stare at myself in my phone. So yeah, behind the scenes, I want to do more of it, just like I said, about every single post that I recommended. But yes, behind the scenes are so fun, and that instantly elevates that know factor, which is what we really, really want. So know, like, and trust is very important. Trust is obviously huge when they're purchasing from you, but as a personal brand and as somebody that's the face of their business, having your audience feel like they know you is so beneficial, and having that behind the scenes where they feel like they're really getting a feel for what you're doing and what you're working on and what your personality is, it's just so beneficial, and it also typically creates tons of engagement. If I'm doing behind the scenes on my Instagram stories, I usually get tons of like DMs where people are like, oh, that's funny, or that's cool, or will you be doing this again, and blah, 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 blah. And if I'm sharing it on my feed, I get tons of likes and typically more comments than usual. So that's really nice as well. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. I am on idea number 22 out of 30 for 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for days when you feel like you don't have anything to post. So we're on idea 22, which is do a review or an unboxing of a product. So for my oily friends, you guys do this so well. When you get your order from Young Living and you're so excited about it, and you usually do like a screenshot of it or like a snap of it on your porch, couldn't think of that word, on your porch, and a couple minutes later then it's in your stories and you're kind of opening everything up and sharing, you know, this is what I ordered for this and it's great for this, and this is new and I haven't tried it, and just kind of going through all of the different things that you ordered and doing that whole unboxing. Obviously, for whatever reason, we get so excited about unboxing. For those of you that have kids, I have 2 boys, and they probably lost like months of their childhood watching unboxing videos from adults unboxing like toys. I don't get it for that, but it worked and they loved it. And that person's probably a millionaire on YouTube now. Anyway, do any of you guys have kids that watch these weird like unboxing videos? It's so strange to me. But if you are in some sort of service industry, especially the oiling, I just love when you guys unbox things. I sit down and watch them. Even if I'm like scrolling through really quickly, I'll typically stop and slow down and watch what's going on, because typically they're also teaching me in the process and telling me what they love about these products. But including some sort of review in the process, even if it's not necessarily an unboxing, but it's like a Here's this product that I've been using for 2 weeks, and this is what I love about it. Or this is what I don't love about it, which is sometimes scary to do like a negative review, but I think it's important, especially when you're positioning yourself as an expert. You want to be trustworthy and sharing your insights. So yes, highly recommend doing those sorts of behind the scenes like reviews and unboxings. So idea number 23 would be an announcement or sharing that there's like new inventory or something new and exciting is happening. So kind of a random suggestion would be, and one that I love, so I follow tons of realtors in my area. I'm not currently technically in the market for buying a house, but I follow all of the realtors and I go to open houses and I scroll on Zillow like every day. But one of my favorite realtors constantly posts like a little like collage of images from a new listing that's like fresh in our neighborhood. And I love it because he shares all the images, and then in the caption he typically says something like, you know, 4-bedroom on blank street and it's, you know, $200,000, DM me for a showing. And I'm like, brilliant content, because I'm gonna follow him forever because I am constantly being updated on what's for sale in the neighborhood that's like high quality stuff. He wouldn't post, you know, a crappy image of a like falling apart house that's for sale, but he shares like all of these really beautiful renovated flips and all the different renos that are for sale in the area. So having that sort of like post where it's like, this is new and exciting, and I'm one of the first people to talk about it, like let me know if you're interested in more information or yeah, getting a listing and now you have a new client, or seeing the listing. So yes, highly recommend. Idea number 24 out of 33, because I added a few, would be tips for hiring a blank. So tips for hiring a brand strategist, or tips for hiring a newborn photographer, or tips for hiring a real estate agent. Just giving people kind of your recommendation for what it would be like to hire someone that's in your field. So if somebody's like super far away, I can still give tips for hiring a like a headshot photographer. Even though most of my audience is remote, they'll still benefit from this information because it's something that I've personally done as well. So I've hired, you know, someone for headshots or for brand photos for myself, and giving those tips would provide value and then also again elevate me and my brand and position myself as the expert. So yeah, doing any sort of this is what I recommend as you start to think through the process of hiring whoever. So I love seeing, and I obviously use newborn photographer as an example a lot, but I love seeing people say, you know, tips for hiring a newborn photographer or tips for hiring a wedding photographer. So make sure that you looked at their portfolios and really like their images. Make sure their hours are in the time frame that you need. Make sure that they have a second shooter or that they have some sort of like backup plan for all of their images, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not a wedding photographer, but giving tips for people to know exactly what they should be looking for in a professional as they, you know, go through that process. And then again, being the expert and saying, by the way, if you are hiring a wedding photographer, I happen to be one. So yes, just providing value and teaching as much as possible. So idea number 25 for an engaging Instagram post would be some sort of recommended podcast, an app, an article, something that you think your audience would really enjoy, especially if it's like real time, where it's like, this is a new article that I just saw, or this is the newest podcast on this podcast channel that I think a lot of us listen to, or whatever. Just recommending, you know, really good resources for your audience. It's an easy post and it typically does really well. So I did an Instagram story a while ago and just screenshot a Don Miller Story Brand podcast, because he had on, I forget her name, but she was an author of a book talking about a third option for moms. So you don't have to be a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, but you can work part-time or you can work from home. And her whole book was going into that. And I love that podcast because as a working mom who sometimes works from home and sometimes works from home with kids and then sometimes works full-time in an office, I loved that there's other people struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. And I know a lot of my audience, they're moms as well. So having that, hey guys, if you're a mom and you're a business owner, check out this podcast. And people DM'd me right away and were like, I can't wait to listen to this. Thanks for the recommendation. So yeah, having that information and that recommendation up there, again, very engaging and very valuable to your audience. Idea number 26, we're getting up there, guys. A sneak peek. So this is something that is really fun. I feel like it's a way to keep your audience in the know and like create that hype of something that's coming without giving tons of information away when it's not like ready to be announced yet. So especially because you can only announce something once. So, hey guys, I have this new course that's for sale. Here it is. It's announced and it's done. But you can kind of sneak information about it leading up to the big announcement. So like just like a little maybe behind the scenes snap of, hey guys, this is what I'm working on, or a little just like a sneak peek of, hey, this is the mood board that I'm working on for a new exciting client. I can't give tons of information yet, but stay tuned to see the whole process and the final results or whatever. So doing a little sneak of something that you can't necessarily share yet, or that you can share, but you just do want to create a little bit of hype behind it. So like a little snap of the new fabrics that are coming to next season's collection or whatever. Really fun things there. And typically it gets tons of engagement as well. So idea number 27 out of technically 33 ideas for engaging Instagram posts. So 27 would be a recipe. And I added this like last minute, but I was thinking Oilers do really well with this. You guys are great on Instagram. Sharing a recipe for a diffuser or for an ailment that you're having. Just, some sort of just recipe for bug repellent or whatever. Or if you're, I don't know, a bakery and you want to share your favorite 2-minute recipe for, I don't know, whatever. Awesome like crumblies for on a muffin. Just sharing that insight because again, you're positioning yourself as the expert and providing value. And those are the two most important things that you could be doing on Instagram. So yes, recipes, especially if you sell individual products or like almost ingredients and materials, and showing those, showing your audience how to put all of them together would be really, really beneficial. So a recipe, or again, a tutorial or some sort of educational post where you're showing people how to use this product that you have. And a recipe would be a great way to do that. So idea number 28 would be common mistakes or misconceptions and like a roundup of those things. So a great one would be like 5 common mistakes that people make when choosing a wedding venue. Number 1, they don't have a rainy option. Number 2, there's a noise ordinance at 9, but your wedding goes until 11 or whatever. So giving them tips for things that you're an expert in, and you're providing like almost the opposite side of information where it's not like this is how you do things, but it's like this is what you shouldn't do. And if you want to not make more mistakes, follow me on my blog or get on my email list or hire me or purchase a product from me to consistently not make those mistakes. So again, yes, always educate and always position yourself as an expert, even though it's really hard. I know it's really hard to position yourself as an expert, especially if you're an introvert. I know it's hard to feel like you're like on a pedestal or a soapbox where you're telling people all of these things, or you think that everybody already knows them, but that's something that I dealt with this past year, and I'm finally getting over myself and sharing things on here, and I can tell that it's beneficial since you guys have been watching. So yes, I highly recommend getting out there and just sharing and educating and teaching. People will love it, I promise, I pinky promise. Idea number 29 out of 33, we're almost done, would be helpful tips for after using you or your service or your program or your product. So an example would be like 5 tips for keeping the weight off after your Whole30 or whatever. Or 10 tips for, I'm blanking now, 10 tips for tips for moving into your new home, or 5 tips for moving, or 5 tips for adding value to your home. If you're a real estate agent, these tips would be great for your past clients, but then also for future clients as well. And it just keeps you forefront of mind, and your audience isn't going to unfollow you as soon as they purchase from you, or as soon as they hire you and now your service is done, and they unfollow you because they don't ever want to hear from you ever again. But instead, you're still providing them tons of value and tons of content, and you'll be forefront of mind. And you're a past, if your audience is a past customer, they'll be 10 times more likely, I made that number up, but probably way more likely to recommend you to a friend, because they're constantly still hearing from you and they have experience with you. And if you're a potential client watching this person on Instagram and they're giving tons of value for after the process, you're way more likely to say, oh, I want to get to that after, because that person's saying, you know, one of the reasons that I was scared to hire a coach or like a personal trainer was because I was scared I was going to lose all this weight and then lose the drive to go to the gym. But they just gave me 10 tips for being consistent at the gym after your personal training sessions are over. So whatever. That's just an example. But keeping them, constantly just educated about your topic and your industry. So idea number 30, we have 3 more after this, so 4 more to go. For those of you that just joined, welcome, thank you guys. I am giving 30 engaging Instagram post ideas for the days when you feel like you don't have anything to post. And we're on number 30, which is a splurge versus save, which I love. I love these ideas in magazines where they have like these are $20 boots and these are $5,000 boots. And this is where you find both of them and they look the same, and it's splurge versus save. So you could do that with a product, like a recommendation, or even just a store recommendation in general. Like if you guys love Anthropologie, that's a splurge, but you can save if you shop at World Market, which is similar product, similar style, but at a fraction of the cost. And you can do that with like such a big number of things, especially if you're an interior designer. You can give tips for splurge versus save with paint, or splurge versus save with like different tiles, or I don't know, whatever your industry uses a ton. And if you know that this like really expensive thing is constantly recommended, but you've experienced this one, which is way more affordable and has the same quality of results, that would be a great post. And if you do a lot of work with a lot of products, that could almost be like a weekly or a monthly post where you're like, hey guys, it's Wednesday, it's time for my weekly splurge versus save. This week I'm talking about blah, blah, blah. I highly recommend this one, which is, you know, a quarter of the price of this one. So giving them that information, very beneficial. Idea number 31, new story or stay tuned. So this is my secret sauce, guys, and I'm sharing it with you. Ooh, you guys, I just got a notification that I have 2 minutes left and then it's gonna turn me off. So I'm gonna real quick plow through these. So I like to always tell people when I have a new exciting story. That way I am I'll stay at the beginning of their stories, at the beginning of their stories feed at the top. So if they constantly see me in their feed, but they don't see me in their stories, I tell them in my feed to go check out my stories. And by clicking that and watching my stories more, I'll stay at the beginning of their stories. You guys probably notice the more you watch different people's stories, the more they stay at the front. So I like to tell them to do that. Or if I'm doing an event or doing some sort of behind the scenes, I'll say, guys, I'm shooting this you know, fun photo shoot today. Check out my stories and stay tuned to see the behind the scenes of what it looks like as I style everything. So telling them to go to my story keeps keeps me at the beginning of their feed, and vice versa. If I am constantly in their stories, I get way more engagement in my stories than I do in my feed. So if I share, there's that new feature where I can share an Instagram post directly to my stories. So that keeps you at the front both ways. Oh, I have 30 seconds. Number 32 would be a freebie or an email opt-in. And number 33 would be recommended vendors that are local or small businesses. So highly recommend getting other people involved, and they'll probably share your business as well. If you guys want these freebies, which is a social content planner and a weekly social calendar, go to brandstrategyco.com/free-calendar to get those. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad to see you all here, and I'll see you guys hopefully next week.